are here.
We're here.
I was super excited to do reaction videos.
Yeah.
And like I was saving videos like as I found them on TikTok that I wanted to react to, and then realized that I didn't want to react to any of them after they've been sitting on the drive for like a week.
Dang.
So I jumped in Discord and I downloaded a bunch of things, and I was looking for things that people had recommended us to react to, and almost every one of them had music. And some of them were like videos of like 3 or 4 people having like conversations in a chat and shit, and like I just deleted the entire Discord channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I think it's going to be easier for us to find the stuff we want to react to and go from there. So this will be the second video on our reaction channel. We're not to 1,000 subscribers or for 4,000 hours as of yet. We are creating this content just to give more stuff for people to watch on that channel to hopefully get the subscribers to get that going. And I may post it also to another platform somewhere. I don't know.
Okay.
With that being said, you want to just jump right into these things?
Yeah.
For those of you who are new to the channel, we are the Chris's. Oh, wait, we're not. We're not the Chris's anymore.
No.
Can't say that. Have to cut that out. All right. So the first one is Jordan Peterson. Hopefully this actually plays through the headphones like they're supposed to.
I hope so.
Do not punish behavior you wish to see repeated.
That's it.
We talk on our other channel all the time
Positive affirmations.
about positive affirmations and about supporting people when they're doing things that you want them to continue doing. Mm-hmm. Because people get so wrapped up in nagging and complaining about the things that aren't getting done that they don't see it fit to say thank you for the things that their partners are doing.
Yep.
And when you don't give that positive affirmation, that positive reinforcement, people are going to continue to do the same shit. Like they're going to rebel and see you as nothing but a negative person, and it's going to create a bunch of problems.
Yep.
Anything you want to add before I hit play?
No.
If you want me to pause, you tell me.
Okay.
Husbands do this to their wives a lot too, especially if they're the jealous type. So imagine you have a wife that maybe you got lucky and you attracted someone who's a little bit above your caliber, or at least that's what you think, and maybe you're right too, you know. And so she's attractive and you're happy about that in some ways, but what about those other men, you know? And so you go out one night and she dresses up and she looks pretty damn sharp, and you're a little unhappy about that.
Could you imagine getting done up and me being jealous or like insecure about how good you look while we're together?
No, I couldn't.
That is the most asinine thought process on the planet. I understand that people feel that way. Obviously, the fucking man, Jordan B. Peterson, is talking about it.
Right.
I don't understand that thought process. And like, I don't have super high self-esteem. Mm-hmm. I have body dysmorphia, and I have all kinds of like self-worth issues that I've been working on my entire fucking life. But when we're out in public and I'm dressed in just jeans and a t-shirt and you're done the fuck up, you're arm candy to me. Mm-hmm. I want everyone in the room to look at you, and I want them to go, damn, how the hell did he pull her? And I want other men to think that they have a shot. Because no, you don't. Yeah, no, you don't. There's nothing in this fucking world that you can offer you that I haven't already offered.
Right.
That you have interest in. I don't have that insecurity. Like, I am not insecure in our relationship. And if I am insecure in our relationship, or I'm insecure in what we have, it's not because of how you look. It's because I can't trust you. Mm-hmm. Because if you trust your person, there's no insecurity. That insecurity will not exist if you trust your partner. So if you are in a relationship and you have insecurities and you're afraid that your person's going to get looked at by another man or another woman and just float on the fuck over there, it's because you lack trust in who they are. I don't understand that mindset at all.
Yeah, it's a pretty weak mindset.
Yep.
And there is a difference between her getting dolled up for you and her getting dolled up for others.
Right. Yep.
If your woman gets dolled up for you and she goes above and beyond and she does her hair the way you like it and you hit her with who you getting dressed up for in a very snarky manner.
Yeah. You know how many people say, because we made a TikTok about that. You know how many people have said, women, I don't get dressed up for my man, I do it for me. I don't ever get dressed up for him. When I get dressed up, I do it for me. But he always says who you getting dressed up for. And then there are other people going, well, what if we're saying that just to get them to play with us and be like, well, it's your tone.
Right.
Your tone and your inflection, your delivery matters how all that plays out. But if a woman is not getting dressed up for her man, or her woman for that matter, and she's only doing it for her, they still expect the compliments.
Right.
They still expect us to notice, like, hey, you did your hair. Like, hey, I love your makeup. You look good in those shoes. You look good in, blah, blah, blah. You're doing it because you want attention.
Right.
Whether you're doing it for yourself or for them, the base root of that is because you want to feel good and you want to have the attention. So you can call it however you want it. Even if you are doing it for your man, you're doing it because you want the attention. When you get dressed up, I give you attention. Mm-hmm. You know that it's going to make me happy to see you dressed up. Subconscious root of that is that you're going to get attention. It's healthy. You're keeping intimacy and flirtation and admiration even alive because I see you and I'm like, damn, and I'm admiring you. And when you accidentally drop something and bend over in front of me while wearing those heels and pick that shit up and your legs are fucking 11 feet long, like, that's a lot to look at.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm looking at it. And when I'm done, I'm beat red looking to see who else is looking. And when I see dudes looking, I'm like, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't get it. If I ever got done up, if I decided to put on a suit and my Breitling watch and my Hugo Boss shoes and like I really went to the nines, shaved, got super cleaned up, and you were like, who are you getting dressed up for? I would be like you. I want people to look at you or look at us together and be like, she landed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There would never be a like, fuck do you mean who am I getting dressed up for? Like, I'm not going to get offended by that because I know that's an insecurity. That's an insecure statement. It's an insecure question. And if you answer it with negativity, it's because you are also insecure. Ugh. Next, want me to play? You got more?
I get a kick out of when I hear women say, I wish I had a man like that. How did she get him? I get a kick out of that.
Yeah.
I do. And if we were ever out and about, say we were in a store and we were separated and I heard some women talking about how good you looked, I'd be like, yeah, doesn't he look great?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, look at him. And like we would fangirl and I'd walk over there and kiss you just to show my dominance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How funny. Okay. I'm not saying that this has to happen, but I would totally play along if it did.
Yeah.
In the event that we were in a store like that and that was happening, and you were to walk over and be like, excuse me, sir, and lay one on me and like pretend like you didn't know me, I would totally play along.
Okay.
I would totally play along and be like, excuse me, ma'am, I am married. Something. I don't know what I would
How far
say.
would I be willing to take that?
I would play along.
Yeah.
I don't know how far we'd go with it, but I would play along, especially if I knew that there were other people watching. If you were to be like, somebody's watching, and then were to lay out on me, I would totally play along with that.
Yeah.
I would make a scene and like public displays of affection. It would be awkward for everyone involved. It would be a lot of fun.
I enjoy us.
Yep. Yes?
Yes. Wait. I think part of the reason that we feel the way we do, because there is a difference between looking and acting.
What do you mean?
So if we were out in public and dudes are looking at me, that's different than a dude approaching me while you're in the bathroom and trying to hit on me, and after I've turned him down, he keeps pushing.
Okay, so let's explore that for a minute, because yes, it is, but no, it's not really. Because if I walked out of the bathroom and saw dudes standing there and you were annoyed, it's gonna be a bad day for that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna come over and be like, what's going on? I'm gonna come over and step in between you and I'm gonna get right in his fucking face. Because I can tell by your body language when you're off.
Right.
I can read you.
Yeah, you can.
Instantly. Because I'm very in tune to what's going on in your body. If there was somebody standing there and there was polite conversation and I could tell that there was no threat, I will walk over and be like, do you know him? I would be like, he would have an opportunity to, why are you standing here? Politely disengage and walk the fuck away.
Right.
But if you were in an uncomfortable scenario, I'm not opposed to hitting somebody in public. Like,
right.
I'm not.
Yeah.
We'd have to run afterwards because I'm not trying to go to jail, but.
Right. My point is, though, there's a difference between having people look at us versus having people approach us.
Yeah.
Because if we're out in public and we're very clearly together, if a dude approaches me and you're standing there next to me and he starts hitting on me, that's a problem.
Right. They're not going to do that while I'm standing there.
Right.
They're not. But if I went to the bathroom, like I said, and I came back out and I could tell that you were starting to get annoyed and I walked over there and dude was shooting his shot I'd be like, you tried. I can respect your want.
Yeah.
There was a failed attempt because she's still smiling now that I'm standing here. I would belittle him.
Right.
I would make him feel very, very small. But
Having something that everybody else wants, though, like when we're in public, people look at us.
yeah, it makes me feel good.
Half of it's because we look the way we do. The other half of it is we look pretty good together.
I think it's like 80-20.
Yeah.
80% of the way we look and 20% of our relationship. I think that when people interact with us, that's where that 20% comes in. Otherwise, it's purely just because of the way we look.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm okay with it. I know what I look like.
I think the reason that we're so secure in how we are and what we have, and we don't have a problem, like you don't have a problem with dudes checking me out.
I don't.
Very clearly, it's an issue for a lot of dudes. And it's because I've made you feel secure in our relationship.
Yeah, I have nothing to worry about.
You know that no dude has a shot with me.
Right.
We laugh about dudes who slide in my DMs and hit me with the ridiculous shit that they do.
Yeah, I see all of it. I also know that in the event that you wanted to do some foul shit, there's nothing I could do to stop that. So for me to have an insecurity and a worry and a what if and a fear is foolish. I'm going to trust you and let you live your life, and we're going to live together and do everything and be happy until I don't have a reason to trust you. But you've never even given me an inclination of a reason not to trust you. You have been overly transparent with everything. The moment anything happens, I know about it. I see the DMs. Like I don't know. You're right. It is because of the
Full transparency we have.
Yep. I don't know what that was.
Because, what about those other men? And so she asks you how she looks, and you take that opportunity to punish her for her beauty. You do that 100 times. And you watch what happens. You think, God, you've let yourself go. It's like,
I'm going to need you to rewind it.
Happy about that because, what about those other men? And so she asks you how she looks, and you take that opportunity to punish her for her beauty. You do that 100 times. And you watch what happens. You think, God, you've let yourself go. It's like, no, I pretty much shaped myself into what you allowed.
Wow.
There's a perspective I have never thought about.
You punish her for her beauty.
And then she shaped herself into what he allowed. I don't understand the lack of hyping your person up because they're supposed to be your person.
Right.
And you can get mad about the ownership in that statement all you want, but you're my person. You're mine. Like, I'm going to do everything I can to make you happy. And if you do small things to try to better yourself, I'm going to fucking cheerlead for you. You do the same thing for me. It's about personal growth and us growing together. If you're an insecure little bitch, you shouldn't try to get with a woman. Like, you should find somebody that's 2 or 3 numbers under you so that you can feel good in a relationship versus having to worry about whether or not you can be secure enough as a man around your woman. I just don't get that shit. Next.
It's a little dick energy.
It really fucking is.
I can't believe that there are women out there who stay with men like that.
It happens all the time.
You know that you're a gorgeous human being and you have a beautiful soul, and you're going to let a man stomp you into the dirt like that?
It's not just men, but yeah.
Yeah, everybody. Women shit on other women constantly.
Yep.
Feminism.
Yeah. Is this the reaction onesie?
Hell, why not?
Has this become a thing?
I just got out of the bath, so I'm comfortable. It might be.
I'm almost positive you were wearing the onesie last time too.
Maybe. It blows my mind that no matter what, women have a box to fit in for everybody.
Yeah. People don't want to allow people to be happy. Because if their happiness outshines your happiness, you got a problem with it.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to see people succeed and do good.
People are selfish.
There's an envy that comes into that. And I don't understand that either. That envy doesn't exist for me. It's not even a jealousy. I see people that are doing really fucking well, and it makes me want to work hard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make me go, well, must be fucking nice.
If they did it, I can do it.
Right. That's exactly where my mind goes. I'm like, okay, they obviously know something I don't. Let's get to work. Mm-hmm. That's all there is to that. Like, I don't know. I know it was very random compared to the what we just watched, but these videos are all over the place too. The next one that we react to is going to be completely different.
Okay.
You want me to go?
Yep.
Our base emotion for all men that we've mastered expressing is anger. The anger is never really the real issue. However, when we really dig deep to what's really going on underneath that anger and express that, that's when we can really communicate with the women in our lives.
There's a lot to unpack in that statement, and that most men are not taught to properly identify their emotions, let alone process them.
Right.
We're told to suppress them, put some dirt in it, quit fucking crying. Like, we're supposed to be stoic, tough, emotionless creatures. In times of peace, soft times like what we have right now, that's okay. World War II times, World War I times, when men were required to go out at 17 and 18 years old and start killing motherfuckers and be at risk of being killed, was a very different time frame. And when things start to get hard again, and they're going to, we lost the petrodollar, America's going to have a whole fucking process coming up here over the next decade. It's going to be completely different by 2032. Mm-hmm. Our country's not going to look the same. All of this be emotional, be vulnerable shit is not going to be okay again. So we're in a weird phase where men are going to have to learn how to process their emotions, identify them, which is healthy. We need to continue that thought process so that when things get tough again, we can react in a more calm manner to threatening situations. There is a benefit to this. But because of past generations and the way that men are raised, we're not able to identify what the underlying issue is, and our initial reaction is anger, which is why we tell people all the time to stop and try to process what you're feeling, because if you can identify if you're hurt or if you're bitter or if there's resentment, that's a very different emotion than anger or rage. And when you can identify that, then you can work through why you feel the way that you feel, and your conflict isn't conflict anymore. And he says that that's how you talk to women. I believe that's how you should be talking to everyone, because anger is a mask.
It is.
Anything to add to that?
If we're always dogmatic, if someone's swinging at me, I'm putting my hands up. Mm-hmm. If you're swinging, you're in a dogmatic mode, your wife or the woman in your life, she's going to do this. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you say, babe, that really hurts, that every time I make a decision or give an idea to something, you always counter it, like almost like my mom, like you scared I'm going to make a mistake that's going to destroy this home. Mm-hmm.
Tell me that that's not the perfect way to let the wife know that you're controlling and nagging your man.
It's the way to do it.
It comes down to simple fucking verbiage. Mm-hmm. And most men don't know how to articulate that. And therefore we say you're controlling, you're nagging. Just like women don't know how to come to the root of the problem, that you're not home enough means I want to spend more time with you. Mm-hmm. Or you never talk to me, right? Or you never talk to me because you're emotionally invulnerable, unavailable, because you don't know how to talk. Like you are lacking in those things. This really does come down to understanding what the root of the problem is, and then being able to talk about it to your partner. That's the first time I'd ever heard that phrase worded that way, about you're not letting me lead. You're not I don't feel secure. I don't feel like you trust me.
Undermining.
You're right. But when you say undermining, now that can be an attacking word. The way this was worded, was flawless. This sentence is the whole reason why I saved this video.
Hands up. Mm-hmm. If you're swinging, you're in a dogmatic mode, your wife or the woman in your life, she's going to do this. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you say, babe, that really hurts, that every time I make a decision or give an idea to something, you always counter it, like almost like my mom, like you scared I'm going to make a mistake that's going to destroy this home. Mm-hmm.
Like you're afraid I'm going to make a mistake that's going to destroy this home. There's no undermine. There's no intent of argument. There's no backhanded like slap. It's very clear. You make me feel like I'm going to be a failure, and you don't trust me to not be a failure. That's solely a me thing. And this is how I feel.
Right.
And like, it gives her the opportunity to realize that that's what she's doing to make him feel that way, because the information that she's providing into her household is what he's taking in, and it's making him feel that way.
So what if a man says that and she counters with, well, I feel this way because we've been late on rent for the last 3 months because you're going out and buying whatever you're buying for your car.
Okay, well then well, obviously I'm not very good with budgeting my money, and I didn't realize that was what was going on, or I thought maybe I was going to catch some overtime and overtime was cut. I thought maybe I'd have an extra client on another fencing job or another roofing job, or I was going to get a part-time job or whatever the reason is. Mm-hmm. But once you have the explanation of why the shortness happened, then you can be like, maybe you can help me budget the money. There needs to be a back and forth.
There does have to be a back and forth. You have to be prepared to hear whatever your partner says when you say how you feel, though.
Right.
Because 9 times that...
Go ahead.
What are you going to say?
No, go ahead.
No, it's gone.
The problem is that you don't need to be prepared to hear what your partner has to say. Your partner needs to be prepared to talk to you in the same tone that you're talking to them. Because if you're coming at them from a place of trying to understand and fix, and you're like, well, we wouldn't have had that problem if you'd have paid the fucking car note or whatever, and you're nasty about it, or they're nasty about it, you're not going to have a back and forth.
Right.
And that's where the disconnect comes in, and it happens both sides. Woman comes in, I feel like you work a lot. Well, how else are we going to fucking have all this? I have no choice. I have to work, blah, 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 blah. Mm. Instead of going, I'm sorry, babe. It sucks. I would like to be home with you. I would love to be home an extra 2 or 3 hours a day. It sucks. I miss you too. Like, that's a very different conversation. Why do you feel that way? I miss you too, babe, but tell me, why do you feel like I work too much? The back and forth matters. The problem is somebody always feels attacked. And I've never heard anybody explain that way from a man's perspective.
Right.
I've learned to hear what you're saying without listening to the words. And that's where our disconnect comes in, or was coming in a lot when we were having disruptions, because we are very blunt now. We both know to come to the root of the problem to address the root, not all of the things that are layered on top of it, because then we have to unpack the layers to get to the actual issue. When we have a problem, we stop and we process what the issue is and go, okay, this is the real issue. It happened the other night. Once we have that figured out, we can have that discussion, and it is a very, very easy discussion. There's no hostility. There's no anger. It is a peaceful back and forth. It comes from a place of love and understanding. It is a very different scenario than coming at somebody sideways. And if he's like, why are you always nagging at me and treat me like my mom? It's because he doesn't know how to word it that way. He doesn't understand the verbiage. And I think that, like, I don't know what you're about to say with 9 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10, there is a dialect back and forth where there is a defensive hostility. I struggle with being defensive.
Yeah.
It's very hard for me to put that shit aside unless I know directly what's going on. You know what I mean? And like, if anytime you come to your person and you say you always or you never, you are making an accusational statement, accusory statement. You're accusing them of something. And of course they're going to get defensive. You're not asking a question, you're throwing shade, placing blame. They're going to do that. But if you come at them and say, I miss you. It sucks that you work 60 hours a week. I'd really like to spend a little bit of extra time with you. That's a very different fucking conversation. You're never home.
Mm-hmm. Just got to be gentle. There's too much anger and hostility.
Right.
Too much built up. Haven't talked about. I'm going to push it down because it's not big of a problem until it is.
Until it is. And it will always fucking snowball.
Mm-hmm.
When we do these things, it makes me evaluate our life. Like, I hear these things and I replay conversations that we've had and disruptions that we've had. And I can see our disruptions going from on a graph scale, from like a really high bar to like barely being a visible line. And sometimes that's in short time frames. And every once in a while I'll have a little blip that comes up and then it'll step back down. But it makes me very grateful that we are able to connect on the level that we connect on, because we are intentional with not being nasty towards each other.
Right.
And we don't allow things get to the point where they are past the point of hurt and into the point of anger. Because when things are hurting and you can see your person's hurting,
there's a want to fix it.
Right. Whereas when there's anger, there's not. There's a want to defend. And like, we had a conversation the other night and you were upset. Like, we had it while you were upset. And it made me feel like shit. And not like it wasn't a guilt thing. You weren't making me feel guilty. I wanted to correct the problem and fix things. And like, I'm trying to like brainstorm solutions and just try to support you and be there. And like, I'm not always going to have the right things to say. I'm not always going to know what to do. Sometimes I'm just going to stare at you and hope to God that you look at me and give me some kind of fucking clue on what needs to happen. And sometimes I'm just going to have to sit there in silence and let you process. And that's what happened. And you did. And the next morning you processed and we had a normal conversation and things were great. And you even thanked me for not being defensive and just, you know, we're letting you work through it. I don't know. I'm a lucky dude.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, my life is peaceful as fuck. Even the disruptions aren't chaos. I don't know.
When you convey it that way and say it really hurts me as a man, I'm trying to do my best. I didn't have this example, but I'm just trying to set a standard for our home.
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, the only thing that I'm going to touch on in that whole thing is he said, I'm trying to set a standard for our home. When you set a standard for your home and you are able to live to that standard, you are basically setting a rule for others to live by. And everyone can adhere to a good standard. And in my opinion, that is how a man is supposed to rule his house.
Mm-hmm.
My wife started doing this, and then eventually she just dropped her guard and opened her heart for me. And I had to do the same thing because our women also have to unlearn society's definition of a man as well. Mm. So just like we ask for grace from them, we got to give them grace as well to unlearn what they've been deceived to believe a man is.
Absolutely.
What they have been deceived to believe a man is.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he used the term grace.
Yeah.
Because we get caught up in keeping score and the
a tit for tat.
Yeah. Yep. And when you treat your partner with grace and you have grace, it's a very different scenario. I'm not going to harp on that one. That needed a pause to just acknowledge. Dude's fucking smart. I don't even know who this guy is.
You know, what women are deceived to believe what a man is. We've had a lot of women email us in saying that you've triggered them. You know, I still get comments on my TikTok that women are concerned for me.
Yeah. I see that stupid shit.
And it's because they saw a 30-second clip and they're projecting their perception from their experiences or whatever they've heard from their best friend in their relationship onto what we have.
Right.
When you take a step back and you actually hear and you listen and you put aside your negativity bias and actually see what we have for what it is, anybody would kill for what we have.
Yeah.
People would do some foul shit to have the love that we have.
I have never lost my temper with you.
No.
Never yelled at you. I raised my voice once. Wasn't a scream. I raised my voice and immediately corrected myself. Mm. There's no hostility. I treat you unlike everyone else on the planet because you are my person. You're mine. You're my woman. we're going to ride or die until the end with this. I don't believe in divorce. That's not happening. We don't talk about it. We don't joke about it. This is indefinite. Until God takes us home, this is the way things are going for us. Mm-hmm. So for somebody to be like, the way he looks at her, blah, 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 and like say some stupid shit, I'm afraid for her safety. I bet because we've had people be like, the way he looks at her, you can tell he secretly hates her. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because I'm looking at her while she's talking? Am I supposed to do this? Heaven forbid you make eye contact with someone when they're talking.
No, heaven forbid you make eye contact with your wife.
I don't understand that. People are fucking weak. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Well, damn, a lot of knowledge.
When we talk about...
Oh. I'm going to read this to you.
Okay.
When your husband attempts to come up with the weekend plans for family without considering your child's nap time, feeding time, and bedtime, is what that says. Mm. She's going to go on... I'll just play it. You can tell me when you want to pause. Okay. This is going to piss you off.
Okay.
The mental load. This is what we're talking about. When we talk about equal and active participation, or lack thereof, this is what we're talking about. Getting the privilege, and yes, I said it, the privilege to not have to worry about or consider these things. To believe that you can just up on a whim make plans for dinner or a staycation or literally any time out away from your house when you have a toddler that is still napping. To not have to know those things is a privilege. To not have to consider them is a privilege. And it's a privilege only afforded to men, husbands, fathers.
Pause.
Yeah.
Bullshit. A privilege. A man. I'm assuming that's a stay at home,
Yeah.
right?
No, I would assume so. I don't know. This was one of the few that were on Discord that I took down.
I'm assuming this is a stay at home. It is not a privilege for a man to not know those things. If he is the sole provider and he is killing himself working 60 to 80 hours a week and he's coming home and he only has an hour with his family before he goes to bed, he is missing everything.
Yep.
Everything that is happening at that home so he can provide the lifestyle so she can stay at home with her child.
Mm-hmm. Now let's think about this too, because there's another layer of that. When the man is missing all of those things and is working and then comes home and tries to create a staycation or tries to
spend time with the
to
family.
actually spend time and do that and doesn't take into consideration naps and feedings and things of that nature. Him trying to create a time for you to spend intimate time together is him going, okay, I really miss my fucking family. Mm-hmm. I want to do things with you. Let's go do something. And for you to be like, no, we have a baby. So fucking what, you have a baby?
It is not going to kill your child
you
to miss one nap time.
Yeah, you take the baby with you. It can sleep in the fucking car while we go and do things.
We went to the aquarium with the kids for our son's birthday, and they napped on the way home from the aquarium.
Yeah.
They sleep anywhere.
Right. They're
they have
kids.
fallen asleep on the tile.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Come on.
My daughter, when she was little, would fall asleep sitting up playing and would wake up and just keep playing like she never fell asleep.
The little head nod and the jerk back up, and they're like, oh, yeah, chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Come on.
To call that privilege and to say that only men, husbands, and fathers afford that means that it is not possible for a father to be a stay-at-home. Women can't experience that privilege. It's only husbands, fathers, and men.
What about the women who pawn their children off on their mother so they can go out and party for the weekends?
Right.
And then come home drunk, wake the kids up, fall asleep, and don't wake up until 2:00 the next day. Because that happens a lot.
Right.
It's very prevalent.
What about all the men who go to court for custody of their kids, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars finally to gain custody of the child, and has to do the single dad thing that is everything a single mother does, works, provides, all of that, and raises a child?
What about drug addict mothers who lost custody of their kids?
Yeah.
And now the dad's the only one raising them.
Yeah, but
No, that's not a thing.
nope, they can't experience that. It's just not.
Men deserve better than this mindset.
Yeah, this is bullshit, and it gets worse.
Okay.
I had someone reach out to me on Instagram for a very similar situation where her husband wanted to go out to dinner at this place. It was over an hour away, so it was going to be an hour there, plus the time to eat, plus an hour drive back with their small children. And like, as much as she wanted.
That's such a fucking cop-out. You don't want to spend time with your husband. Just say that.
Right.
I don't want to go to dinner. It's cool. We'll DoorDash in then. Because we have multiple kids.
Right.
It's not hard to put the toddlers in a car seat, drive 45 minutes to an hour, have dinner, and drive home. They're going to be full as fuck on the ride home, and they're going to sleep. They may be a little bit rowdy in a restaurant, but they're fucking kids.
If you weren't ready for that, you shouldn't have had kids.
Right. That mindset is bullshit. Just because you have little children does not mean that your world is over.
Right.
You can put your kids in a car seat and bring them inside. If they're babies, they can stay in that car seat in the chair right next to you, and you can give them a little syrup on your fucking breadsticks or something, just to, so they have something to not cry about, or put it on their fucking binky and stick it in their mouth. So now you're a stay-at-home mom, and your husband tries to take you to dinner, but because you're a stay-at-home mom, you're now a prisoner. And 2 weeks from now, when you complain about how you don't have free time and he never sees you and he works all the fucking time and blah, 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 blah.
Remember when you had an issue because the restaurant was an hour away?
Yep.
I bet this is the same kind of person who has the mindset of he doesn't do enough.
Right. I wonder if this was one of those things where he's like, I know the kids are 2. We can lock them in the bedroom closet, put a dresser in front of it so they can't destroy anything, and we can just leave them in there and go to dinner. Because in that scenario, I can be like 3 hours out of the house. It's a really bad idea, husband. Like, you're not a good parent.
Right.
That's a very different, you know what I mean? Like, but that's not what's going on
How
here.
dare him want to take his family out to a nice dinner.
Right.
And treat them to something that he's probably been looking forward to.
Right. Or missing because, you know, the intimacy dies when children are born because now you have another life that you have to look after all the fucking time. And instead of just accepting the fact that you have this other life form and you can still do dates, let's just not do dates ever again because there's a child here now. Let's go ahead and just destroy our marriage. Make sure that we hate each other, like good and hate each other, so that if we're not divorced by the time the child is like 8, we will definitely be divorced by the time they turn 18.
Along with fucking up that
and
kid.
then we can fuck the kid up really bad too. Yeah, let's not teach them what a relationship looks like or healthy parenting. I told you this was going to piss you off.
To go, she was like, that's so much work. And her husband,
You know,
We're not talking about horse and carriage.
no, we're not. In my mind, if you wanted to take all of us out to dinner, you're saving me 2 hours of cooking. That's making my life easy.
Can you tell me how hard it is to take just 2 kids? We'll call it 3.
My kids, so he's a stepfather. If you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel, he is not the father of my children.
He is not the father.
The kids are 14 months apart.
DNA test said you are not the father. Sorry.
They're Irish twins.
Is that what they call that?
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're 14 months apart. As a single mom, I was taking 2 children in diapers out to dinner by myself. It's not hard. If you don't have the mental fortitude for that, just say that.
Are you sure though? Because the internet says it's hard.
If you don't have the mental fortitude to handle it, just say that.
So being that I have actually raised my kid, my daughter's in her 20s, and your kids are very little. But the kids are little. And I have never once been like, we can't go to the store because we have the kids. That's not a thing. If I want to do something with you and the kids are going, we're going. The issue is that most people don't want to take their kids to the store because they want that time alone. So if we were going to go to the grocery store or go to the mall together, the kids are coming because
Right.
we get to spend time together. And if you don't want to spend time with me and you don't want to be around the kids and you need that time away, then you say, I need some mommy time. Like
I need some self-care time.
Right. And then we make that happen. You go do your self-care. Like it's not a big deal. I can watch the kids. You can go do that. But that's the communication that comes involved in all of that. But I can tell you that as a parent, putting 2 kids in a car by myself, talking to them, having a conversation while we're driving, getting to a mall or a store or an out like to eat an eatery, it's not hard. Have a seat, put them in a high chair, buckle them in, order their food, have a conversation with them while you eat. It's not fucking hard to spend time with your children.
Can it be stressful? Fuck yes.
Kids can be a pain in the ass.
They can be a handful, but it's not hard. You have to learn to regulate your emotions.
Yeah.
And if you're not up for it, if you are exhausted and you are overwhelmed, don't blame it on it's an hour drive. The kids are too much. Just say you're tired.
Right.
Just say, babe, I love that you thought about us and you wanted to go out for dinner. I can't. I'm exhausted. All week it's been nonstop. I can't.
It's not hard.
It's really not. You know, if this, like I've said, I'm assuming this is a single mother. If you didn't want to be, not a single mother, a stay-at-home wife. If you were not prepared to be a mom and you're envious that he doesn't have to deal with a child, then don't be a parent. Don't have children.
Yeah.
If having a child is going to make you resent the fact that your husband's not at home dealing with all the shit that you're dealing with because he has to go and make a paycheck to provide for you, don't be a mom.
Right.
Why take that out on him?
For a decision you both made.
Right. And this is outside of you guys are both working and you're handling everything. He never interacts with the kid.
Right. We've talked about that at length too.
Play it.
Yes, ma'am.
was getting like irritated about it because he was like, why can't we just go? And she was like, because I'm going to be the one having to pack the bags, get them in the car seats, find the things to entertain them for the hour drive there and the hour drive back, find the things for them to do at the dinner table, be the one to figure out what they're going to eat, if they're not going to eat, how to keep them busy, how to keep them quiet. And
all right. let's say that that's actually true. Let's say that you have to pack the bag, put them in the car seat, and figure the entertainment out, right? Assuming that there's multiple kids, you probably got an SUV or a mom van, a minivan. There's already shit in there to keep them entertained because you keep that on stock ready to go.
My car's a mess.
It's called being prepared. And if they're of age of tablets, you got tablets tucked behind the fucking car seat. You just plug them in, push the button, headphones or whatever.
And they can watch something educational.
That shit's already ready to go. If you've got an infant and you've got to pack a diaper bag, or an early toddler, little toddler, and you've got a prepper diaper bag, if you don't have a go bag almost always ready to go and you have to start from scratch every time,
that's a you problem.
You're failing because you are not fucking prepared. Now, let's say that that's all the case. You have to do all that from scratch. If we stay home and you're the stay-at-home wife or mom, and it is your job to have dinner ready by the time he gets home or whatever the case may be, you still have a whole bunch of fucking work to do. While he's finishing his day job, driving home, getting ready for dinner, showering, and sitting down, there still has to be work done. You are trading one, like you said, it would be 2 hours of cook time in exchange for
a 2-hour drive.
Right, for a 2-hour drive. I don't understand that mindset. It's
all perception.
I also don't understand men who are not present with their children, especially when they work as much as they do, because you miss your kids.
Right.
You want to spend time with them. Kids are still fucking annoying. And if you're not with them a lot, and
it can be overwhelming.
It absolutely can be, because you're not used to their mannerisms or their speech patterns. If they have a speech issue, if they're little or they don't speak well, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that can be missed. And you realize that when you're out with them and mom is very in tune with what's going on with the child and you feel like an outsider. That's one more fucking reminder of how much you're missing by working, providing to make sure that that kid is taken care of. It fucking sucks.
It does.
And even though you might get frustrated in the moment, deep down, when that layer of anger, that mask comes off, you fucking know why you're angry. Where's the privilege in missing out on my kids' fucking birthdays and not being able to talk to them and not being able to have the understanding that mom has because I'm fucking killing myself?
How about reading bedtime stories?
While mom is watching TikTok on the couch while the kid's taking a nap during the daytime. Bedtime stories too. I read to the fucking kids. We both do. Like, we Andy Frisilla writes children books. And I'm a huge fan of that, dude. I bought every one of the books that they fucking have for the kids. And they ask. They'll come out and be like, will you read me a book? Yep, I'm going to stop whatever the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to come in there and read to you. Absolutely. No questions asked. Let's go. Because not only am I going to get quality time, you're going to remember that when you're older. You're going to do that with your kids. And you're going to learn valuable lessons from those books because we're not buying you bullshit books.
Right.
Shit's got me heated too.
And get the luxury of not having to concern themselves with that.
Even if this man is a piece of shit like that, you had a kid with him.
Yeah. What does that say about your
that
choice?
That was your choice.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Next.
Do you really think it's a luxury?
No.
To have to miss out on all that shit?
That's a sacrifice.
It is a sacrifice. And I'm speaking from experience because I missed a fucking lot building my businesses. And there is a regret there for me. There absolutely is. And I would do it again because I'm able to do a lot for my children that I wouldn't be able to do if I was not financially secure. But I missed cheerleading and I missed football games and I missed graduations at points. There was a lot of shit that I missed out on because I was fucking killing myself to get to where I am to make sure that my family's taken care of. And I would do it again. But I fucking miss that. And I think about that shit at nighttime when I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm staring at the fucking ceiling. I wonder how much I fucked my kids up by not being there. But when they call me and they're like, hey, I need a new car, or hey, I need, an AC, or hey, I've got you. I can take care of the things that you need.
I need a deposit for my apartment.
Right. There is a sacrifice. And there are things that I missed out on that I absolutely fucking regret that I'm sure fucked my kids up, but I'm also able to be there in a way that they need me now.
Yeah.
There's a give and take, but it wasn't a fucking luxury. Being away from my family and being away from my kids was not a luxury. That's not fucking fun to me.
That hurts. That shit hurts.
And then have the audacity to wonder why women initiate the majority of divorces. It is
It's so hard to have to take care of a kid and do all of that because your husband works and provides and does what he's supposed to be doing, that you want to initiate a divorce to continue to just do all of that. You got a scowl on your face. It looks like somebody
I'm
pooped in your Cheerios.
disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. Are there men out there who treat women like shit? Yes,
Absolutely.
there are. This scenario, that's looking for an out.
Yeah.
You're creating issues just to get an out. If you're unhappy in your relationship, just say that. If you don't like your husband, just admit that.
Regret having a kid? Just
say that. Don't beat around the bush with all of this. If you don't want to be married anymore, just say that.
For everybody that's watching this video, if you are a woman who is married to a man and you're considering divorce because you're having problems in your marriage, Google the statistics of children who grow up in a single family household. And then, because, I don't want my kid to grow up in this situation. Instead, you're going to put them in a broken home instead of trying to talk to your husband and fix your fucking marriage. And then you're going to leave them and your kid's going to get fucked up because of it.
Unfair to expect.
And that doesn't go for DV and SA and all the other shit. And if I don't say that, the fucking keyboard warriors in the comments.
Pop off.
One person to be the bearer of the mental load and the tracker of these types of things.
So it's okay for him to be the physical bearer of the load of providing and protecting and making sure that there's food at the table and the paychecks are coming in and that you have all the shit that you need in your Starbucks runs and your Hobby Lobby and the fucking kids' bags. And
how about the fact that a man who is providing for a stay-at-home mom and his children has to wake up every morning and know that their lifestyle depends on him?
Right.
If he messes up once, they could lose everything.
That is a mental struggle. But she just said that men don't have that.
No, men don't have that.
It's a luxury women and mothers are not afforded. I know this creator is not trying to.
So you're telling me that women don't have nannies and that there's no career women?
Or maids.
Or grandmothers that help out? It's just not a thing. It's just never a thing.
Speak ill of her partner. This point just bears being made.
Ooh, pause it. So you're self-projecting onto another person's TikTok. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's all I needed. I get it. You're miserable. Next.
Give me 1 second, babe. All right. I'm gonna let this play out.
Okay.
Because I didn't see the end of this.
All right.
Attention to. It's not a partnership when one person is expected to be the one carrying the mental load, both visible and invisible. It's not fair for one person to be in charge of the decision making for nap time, bedtime, snack time, time out of the house, to be the one.
So it's not fair for one person to make the decisions on what the schedule is. Mm-hmm. So wife wants snack time at 2 p.m. because dinner's at 5:30 and she doesn't want that spoiled.
Okay.
Dad decides snack time's at 4 p.m. but then he gets bitched at for it.
Right. Oh, yeah, because they're not adhering to her schedule of what she wants.
So the way things work, and that makes sense to me, is that there can only be one final decision maker when it comes to things.
The mom.
No, not just the mom. In every aspect of life, in business, there's one final decision maker.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought, okay.
Because if there are two people who are making final decisions, nothing will ever get done properly or it's going to fucking crumble.
Right. It's like ballroom dancing. Both people can't lead.
Right.
Yeah, you have to have somebody that makes final decisions.
So how about either the mom or the father gets the schedule set and then the other one follows? Yeah. But is that not adequate enough? Because somebody decided snack time was at 2 p.m. instead of 4 p.m.?
Right. That's a good point. Here's a thought. You do what's best for the child. And if that means one person has to set the schedule, why is that a problem? Because once the schedule and a routine is set, it's known. And if the issue is that the husband comes and tries to break that routine every once in a while, it's not really that big of a deal to break that routine to have some fucking quality time with your person.
Right.
Calculating and considering all of those things simply for a time away from their home. I'm also not saying this is grounds for divorce, so please don't twist my words here. I'm saying that this is one small piece of the mental and invisible labor mothers carry. And how it leads to resentment and it leads to burnout. It's unfair that women, wives, mothers are expected to be the only ones who have to take these types of things into consideration.
I'm nauseous.
So we talk a lot on our other channel about teamwork.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to work and providing, and it's my job to build roofs or fences or weld, whatever, even personal training, whatever my job is, and that's how we have the lifestyle we have, is off of my hard work while you take care of the house and raise the child. You're working hard doing what you're doing. I'm working hard doing what I'm doing. And together, we are going to raise a good child. Mm-hmm. We're going to make sure our bills are paid on time. We're not going to have high debt. We're going to have a high credit score instead. And we're going to function and thrive as a family, because it takes two people to run a family properly. And I don't care if that bothers the single parents out there. Households run more effectively when both parents are in the house.
Yes, it does. As a single parent, if you take offense to that, think how much easier your life would be if you had someone to take over half the shit you do.
Right.
You're going to be happier. You're going to be less stressed. You're going to be less anxious. You're probably going to be less depressed.
More time.
There's going to be more time. More time you can spend with your child.
Yep.
Actually doing quality things instead of just telling them to do things around the house because you need help with chores because you just got done with a 12-hour shift.
Right. Right. That whole pity me because I'm a mother mindset, that's victim. That whole thing is victim mentality to me. And it's taking away the father's, I keep wanting to call it shortcomings, but shortcomings isn't the right word. It's taking away the father's sorrow, the father's regrets. Fuck. What's the word I'm looking for? My brain is not there. The father's missing a lot.
Yes. His sacrifices.
Sacrifices. I knew there was a word for it.
Yeah.
Brain just wasn't getting there.
You know, if she phrased that differently, just saying, I know this is not what she meant by her TikTok, but I would like to bring attention to women who have men in their lives who don't uphold their end as a father.
Right. That would have been a very different conversation.
It would have been a totally different conversation. Because if there's a stay-at-home mom who's dealing with everything and all he does is go to work and he comes home and plays video games,
right,
that's something to complain about.
Right. Or never tries to actually spend time with them. We literally just watched a TikTok where somebody complained about a husband coming home and trying to take his wife and child out to dinner.
To spend quality time with his family.
Right. Because it's too hard to load the kid up into a minivan and drive them to a fucking restaurant.
What a terrible man.
You know how soft we are as a species?
So fucking soft. We're like little slugs without shells.
It's so hard to pack the kids up into a minivan and drive them to a restaurant and keep them entertained.
If that's the grievance you have in your relationship, there are women who are in fear of their life with their child because their husband's drunk throwing things at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's not me invalidating any woman's feelings where she feels like she's parenting alone. If that's your grievance, that your husband wanted to take you out to dinner and it's an hour away and he hasn't considered how hard that is on you mentally, have you said, I'm too tired, babe, I don't want to do this tonight? Communication resolves almost 90% of issues in a relationship.
If I did that and you were too tired and you were like, I'm tired, I don't want to do that, I'm like, okay, cool. Then here's what we're going to do. Let's get the kids to a bath early, get their homework done. We'll DoorDash dinner so we don't have to cook. We'll get them nice and full. We'll order something like pizza or chicken nuggets, something I know they're going to eat and get stuffed on. And we'll put them to bed an hour early to watch TV. And we'll put on Octonauts. And they can sit in there and watch TV, and you and I can sit on the couch in silence, or we can watch a movie while they do the same thing in their bedroom, and we can just have a fucking evening of downtime.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk. We can literally just sit here brainlessly and watch TV because you know what? I'm fucking tired all the time too. I just wanted to spend some time with you.
Yeah.
And if that means sitting in the living room in silence, me holding your foot while you're staring at the ceiling, or even fucking half asleep, dope, let's do that. But if I was like, I made us dinner reservations, let's get ready to go. And you're like, oh, how dare you fucking make dinner reservations? You know how hard it is to get the fucking baby in the car. Blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't do it anymore.
There are women out there who beg their husband to plan stuff like that and to spend time with the family.
We get those emails.
Constantly.
Yep.
And you know, she didn't list any of the other issues that are going on in the marriage.
Yeah.
Is there any intimacy? Is he not telling you that you're beautiful anymore? Is that why you're so resentful towards him? Do you feel like he's lacking in other areas of your marriage? but you're bringing to the foreground that he's being inconsiderate to you by telling you he wants to go to dinner that's an hour away.
Right.
What's the real problem? Like, what is the actual root of it?
Yep. You want to go to the next one?
Next one.
All right. You want to take a breather? Recompose yourself? Think of standing next to a watery brook and on a rainy day in Tennessee in the mountains.
You know me so well.
Yeah. All right.
I can't even tell you how many times a day I have to hear a man say, well, why do I have to help her with the dishes if she didn't help me mow the lawn, change the oil, or put on the roof? Now, first of all, we're not asking for help. We're asking you to participate by washing the dish you ate off of because you're an adult. But do you know what really infuriates me, aside from the fact that most of the men that say these things just hire a landscaper, mechanic, or contractor? It's that most of you have never told your wife that you wish she'd do any of these things with you. So you're not trying to make an argument for what you should be doing together. You're trying to make an argument for why she should have to continue to do things alone.
I don't understand anything she just said.
She's basically just saying that we don't ask you to cut the yard or put a roof on or do the things that men do,
Right.
but we should help you do the dishes and do those things because you ask us. And it's about spending time and it's about us helping you in the house, whereas we've never asked you to do those things outside of the house because we don't want to be near you. And this isn't about that. It's about not wanting to do things in the house. You want me to start it over?
No, if you want someone who's going to do dishes for you, date someone whose love language is acts of service.
Right. The idea that people don't help each other is foreign to me
Right.
because you can find ways to live a life of teamwork without having to do the same jobs. If two things need to be done and each person tackles a job and gets it done fast, you have free time together. If one person is stuck doing all the work and the other person sitting on the couch drinking a beer, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
The issue is not doing the dishes together or rotating nights. It's a matter of getting everything done so that you can spend quality time together. Our situation is different because we have blue and pink jobs and we have a stay-at-home.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that most couples can't afford to do that.
Right. They're both working.
Right. So if both people are working, you're already at a deficit in terms of time.
Mm-hmm.
So to not do things to speed up your evening so that you can spend time together is going to affect your sleep schedule. It's going to make you irritable, and it's going to make you resentful. It's going to make you hate each other.
You know, it also goes from when two people first move in together, it is let me do things to make your life easy. So, for example, a woman might start doing the dishes, and that's something she does. He offers to help. No, babe, I got it.
Right. She's teaching him not to do the dishes.
After an X amount of time, he's not going to ask anymore because your answer every single time is, I got it, babe, don't worry.
Yep. And then he's not going to worry about the dishes.
He's not going to ask anymore.
Yep.
When you ask for help, he'll probably do it. But if you expect him to help going forward, you need to say that.
Or if you tell him, do the dishes. It's different
It is.
because you're making a demand instead of a request.
It's a, hey, babe, I've noticed I'm getting overwhelmed with things. I have too much on my plate right now. 3 nights a week, can you help me with the dishes? Right. Or if you see the dishes are in the sink, can you just knock them out? It'll take a lot off my shoulders.
Right. Babe, I just enrolled our son into jiu-jitsu. I want to see him do this. So on Fridays and Wednesdays when he's in class, can you do the dishes so that when I come home, I can cook? Or can you cook and do dishes on those nights or have food ready, however you got to do that? That whole, or have a lawn service or do a contractor to do the jobs. If you can afford to do those things, why the fuck wouldn't you do that? Why would I want to spend 5 hours of my day off outside cutting the grass when I can be inside with you and spending time with my children?
Right. Y'all don't know how to communicate.
And not at all. Her upper lip drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And do you know what all the things that you're responsible for have in common? They all allow you to be outside the home and child-free. Some of them even allow you to listen to classic rock and drink a beer with your buddies.
Tell me that you hate each other without telling me you hate each other.
Right.
Because all that sounds like to me is that I'm miserable at home and I would much rather be anywhere other than near you. I wonder why that is.
Mm-hmm. And yet you're trying to compare that to your partner cooking dinner while she helps her kids with their homework, feeds her.
Oh, their kids. I'm sorry, her kids. She said her kids.
Yeah.
your dogs and gives your toddler a bath.
Her toddler.
You're talking about things that have to be done weekly, monthly, or yearly and comparing them to the daily obligations that are required to keep a household running smooth.
So what if he decides he's not going to go to work anymore and stop paying for the mortgage? And then you don't have a household to cook in and have rooms to clean.
You guys,
Fuck it. Let's live in a car.
If you're not ready to have a family life and recognizing that the workloads are not going to be even. And now I'm not saying you're not supposed to help each other, because you're certainly supposed to, but it's never going to be an equal exchange of things.
No,
if you're not ready for that, don't have a family.
Yeah. Yep.
If you are going to constantly complain about your partners not helping you, if they weren't helping you before having a kid, they're not going to all of a sudden change because there's another life in the household.
Wait, are you saying that by getting married and having kids and getting a house together, that things aren't going to just magically become the Disney fairy tale?
No,
or Hallmark?
people are dreaming of playing house.
Oh man, this whole time I didn't know.
Next.
You're like,
let's be
next.
honest, you can wait to change your oil until you have the day off and it's convenient for you. But domestic labor doesn't care if your day was hard and your night is long, because it just has to get done anyways.
Pause.
You have to.
All of the women who complain like this and have all of these issues, you are having children with these men.
Wait, are you saying that they should take accountability? Or that they shouldn't breed with people that can't fucking meet the
Right.
expectations they have of a man?
If you think somebody is not going to be a good parent or a good partner, do not have children and do not be in a relationship with that person.
It's real simple. Nobody's forcing you to be with these people.
Right. Nobody's forcing you to have a child with this person.
Yep.
And if all of a sudden they changed after having a child, I bet you've changed too.
Right. It takes two to tango. It's not one person changing. It's both of y'all.
And if he was like that before you had a kid, you knew what you were getting into.
Yep.
Play.
To fix your roof once every 15 years, and you think that compares to picking up your dirty underwear and washing your dishes nightly? Because it doesn't.
Is it really that hard to rinse your plate off, put it in the dishwasher, wait till it's full, and throw a pot in and push a button?
Our 3-year-old does it.
I know. She enjoys it.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult task. Neither is laundry.
No.
I can do all of that and sit down and wait for it to be finished and then get up and put it away.
Yep.
So the next time you want to voice a complaint about your marriage, why don't you ask yourself why you tried so hard not to participate in it?
Let's talk about all the things that are automated now, right? Because you mentioned oil change. You take your oil change, it takes 10 minutes. You drive through a place. If you got an appointment, you can be in and out in 30, right? It's not hard. Dishwasher's automated. Laundry is automated. Microwave for food most of the time is very, very feasible. You can literally live on microwavable food.
We have an air fryer.
We have an air fryer.
Just toss it in there.
Right.
Slow cookers.
You could, yeah, crock pots. Realistically, you can prep your food, get it all ready to go, throw it in the thing and dip out. Come back when it's ready to go and eat. So none of this is labor intensive. The idea that you are slaving over a hot stove and fucking out by the river beating your fucking clothes on a rock. You always say it's not 1950s anymore. It's not 1850s anymore. That fucking stay-at-home job is not that hard. Kids make it difficult.
Yeah. Kids can be a handful.
But we have vacuums. You're not sweeping and then mopping. You're vacuuming real fucking quick and then Swiffering where the dirt is. It's not hard to maintain a fucking house. And if you stay on top of it and clean a little bit as you go, it never gets out of hand. Tell me your time management sucks without telling me your time management sucks. And then tell me why you're looking for a reason to complain, because that's what I'm hearing in that scenario. And then you wonder why he doesn't want to be there. Because if I had to hear that all fucking day long, I wouldn't want to be there either. If I could go and have a drink with people that actually enjoy my presence, I would rather be present there than be present at home and listen to that shit all fucking day long.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what's the big...
Okay, this is a good one.
Okay.
I have to pause and blow my nose.
Okay.
And I think Sean's going to pull up in a second, so let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Oh, he's here.
I like my collection of self-help books is increasing.
Yeah. We have
Makes
to
me feel like I'm actually doing something.
Right, we should probably clear this off and put all of our books on this.
Yeah.
Not that anybody can see it, but we can. All right, so this is going to change the tone. I forgot that the upper lip lady was in there. So this is going to change the tone of the reactions, I think, for the rest of the reaction video.
Okay.
The biggest mistakes before marriage is what he asks.
Oh, okay.
biggest mistake that most people make before they say I do?
I got this one. Steve.
Caprice and Ronald?
A lot of people say I do, but what they really mean is I'll try. See, I do means I'm doing. I'm going to do. And there's no excuse, no back door. And that's what we talked about before. I said, we're not ever going to say divorce. I'm never saying split up. We're never saying, separation. I don't get that.
Pause.
When you say.
I like that he said there's no back door. Yeah. If this is ever on fire, we're both going down.
Right. When you remove the possibility of an out and you believe that, it changes your arguments. It changes the way that you handle your arguments. It changes the way that you handle your frustrations and your anger, because you are now accepting that this is going to be who you're with for the rest of your life.
There's no scoreboard anymore.
Right.
There's no me against you. It's us against whatever is coming at us.
Right. And when you approach things as a team and it's the two of you versus the problems get a lot fucking smaller because you have somebody on your side to help figure things out.
We're no longer facing each other with spears. We're back to back.
Right. This conversation also plays into what I had mentioned on the live stream on our other channel today, which obviously is irrelevant because will be whenever you see this video. It won't be today, but when we have family members that are not good, we tolerate a whole lot from them because they're family. But you're quick to run away from your spouse and get a divorce.
Family you chose.
When you get married, you're choosing your family. You are leaving your family and creating your own. But you're not blood related, so you don't treat it like that. And that's the wrong fucking mindset. When you decide to say I do to somebody and you have children and you create that, you need to treat that as if that is that family, that true family mindset, because that's your family now. You're supposed to be there thick and thin no matter what. That's the mindset that people need to adapt and like really, I don't know.
I agree.
I really wish I would have thought of that before this morning, because I had that mind that hit me this morning. I literally hit play on an Audible book and then paused it immediately. Like, what? And I was like, just had a fucking oh my God moment.
Yeah.
You ready?
You do to me, you're going to do.
And whatever you say I do too is what you do too. So you got to make sure you say I do to something that, you can live with.
Thinking that you can change somebody, thinking that you can change them, they'll change, things will get better. You can't go in with an agenda.
Oh, no.
I want to point out two things. One, she's absolutely correct. Two, he is holding her hand while sitting on that stage and she's rubbing her shoulders.
Yep.
And it said 20 years. They've been married for 20 years, and he's being intimate with her in a public fashion in front of everyone on that stage, in front of the audience, in front of the world that's being televised on whatever TV show this is. There's a true love there. His body language shows you that he is still very much into his woman. 20 years. She's never tried to change him. She's not trying to control him. She's allowing him to be an individual and loving him, and they are growing together. And she just told you that's what it takes. And we talk all the time about people trying to control their partner. You can't fucking control someone. You can try, and you can try to manipulate the situation, but eventually there's going to be bitterness and animosity because you are treating your partner as if they are a thing. When you get married or you have children, you automatically feel an ownership to them because you believe that marriage is supposed to be forever, and you treat them that way. And you don't do that to your best friends. You don't do that to people who've been in your life for as long as they've been in your life, because the moment you try to control them, they leave.
Yep.
You believe that this person's never going to fucking leave. Therefore, you treat them differently than everyone else and try to keep them under thumb. You can't do that. That's not how relationships work.
Yeah. People look at our relationship and say that you're controlling and they have fear for me and all of this shit. But when you really think about it, you told me it makes me uncomfortable when you go to the bar. I made the active choice to make you comfortable in our relationship, and I stopped going to the bar.
Right.
And my life has improved because of it.
I mean, I would like to think it has.
There are women out there who demand that their man doesn't go to the bar. And when he does, it's a blow-up fight every single time.
Right.
Who's really controlling? Which relationship is really more of the controlling dynamic?
Because I asked versus being told?
You didn't even ask. You just said it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it does. And there's a whole lot of reasons for it. And I am that person that I would rather you make the decision for me to show me that you care and to show me where I am in your life than for me to tell you I don't want you to do something.
Right.
If I have to tell you I don't want you to do something only for you to do it, at that point it's going to be tension, right? But if I say, look, this really bothers me, and you continue to do it knowing that it's bothering me,
I'm making the choice.
you are making a decision to do something knowing how I feel about it. And it tells me where I fall in a list of your priorities. That's going to dictate a whole lot of things moving forward. And in the event that I'm like, in our scenario, I'm not comfortable with you going to the bar, and then later on I'm liking thirst traps, telling girls on the internet they're beautiful, and you're like, I don't like it when you do that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. And be like, cool. Well, I didn't like you going to the bar, and you didn't give a fuck about how I felt. So, tap tap.
Yep.
Because I'm way down here on your list of things that matter. So now you're down there too. My phone is more important than that. Just like the bar is more important than me. Fuck it. If we're gonna be that, we're gonna be that. That's that mindset.
It is that mindset.
I love that I don't have to tell you those things. I've never had to ask you to do anything.
No.
I don't ask you to cook. I don't ask you to fucking bring my plate. I don't ask you for shit. We have discussions about things and we do for each other.
I think one of the big mistakes that a lot of people make is before they get married, they don't get a full disclosure. I think before you get married, you ought to put everything on the table. No secrets. Let them know your credit report. Let them know.
I actually agree with that.
I agree.
The credit thing, big time.
Know everything.
If you have $60,000 in debt, that person has the right to know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not something that should be hidden because when you get married, that debt is now a problem. If you ever try to buy a house and I have an 800 and you've got a 3, that's a problem.
Not saying that's something that ends a relationship. That's a problem to solve. And that's something that needs to be solved before you guys start making life decisions together.
Right. Well, that's something to solve before you get married.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I mean.
Yeah, you can't, when that happens and you are legally married and you try to do anything that's a joint venture, you can't do that.
Right.
If you're married, you can't buy a house on just your name. They're going to want to look at the spouse's credit. It's a problem. We just got an email from somebody named Purple Sticky Punch.
Okay.
And I understand that it's a weed reference, but all I can hear in my head is Biodome. What's your name? Purple Sticky Punch.
And who you slept with, if it's somebody close to them.
Yeah.
Let them. I mean, no secrets because that can ruin the marriage. Now we've been married for 30 years, and I've seen people they never get to this point here because something pop up in year number 10. That a person did not know, and if they had known before, they would not have never said, I do.
A lot of that shit gets hashed out in the courting phase. And when things move from courting to dating and things become monogamous and you really start hunkering down, that is the time to have all of those conversations and let that dirty laundry air. Because if you date somebody for 5 years, live with them and all of that, and then you start to get married, and then you spend 5 years married and that dirty wash comes out, you've wasted a decade of your life for something that could have been resolved very, very early on, or been like, I'm not willing to tolerate this. This doesn't work for me. Let's just end this now and be friends and go about our lives. I agree with this one.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty hard. Like, these are all really good pieces of advice. I hate Steve Harvey. I really liked him at one point, and then somebody pointed out how much he panders, and I was like, oh, he fucking does. He really does.
Yeah.
They would have said, I don't. And so it's best to let everything out before you say, I do. And if they can marry you with all of your garbage, then it's going to be okay.
Right. I can see that.
But Steve, I've been married almost 49 years, and we still are finding common ground, if we can find it, and we very seldom ever argue.
That's going to be us but tattooed.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
I'm probably... No, I would rock the white hair, but it's going to be longer.
Well, I'm almost there, minus I don't have hair on my head because, it got mad and left and it's not come back yet. Tell me that that's not something we talk about constantly.
It is.
We find new ground on things all the time. And when we start having disagreements, we find the common ground first and then we build from that. Because once you have an eye-to-eye understanding, it's a lot easier to stack things on top of it than it is to play Jenga and start removing shit and hope that everything stays afloat.
Right.
Sorry, I talk in metaphors.
About anything, but I know she's trained me well, or what, but we just don't have any conflicts.
Our biggest argument is over the dishwasher.
That's their biggest argument.
Yeah.
The dishwasher. And I bet it's unloading it.
This man has always helped me so much in the house. And he helps me unload the dishwasher if he's handy. And then he'll load the dishwasher. And
He
it's
won't turn
like
it on.
he's never seen the dishwasher before. There's a right way and a wrong way to load the dishwasher.
So they're arguing over the towels, essentially.
Literally.
On how
That's
you
their
load
biggest
the
argument.
dishwasher.
That is a true marriage.
Right.
That is two people who love each other, who have found a common ground on everything, and their biggest complaint is he doesn't know how to load the dishwasher.
Right.
How blessed.
50 years of marriage.
Good for them.
It's my way, and it's the right way. Trust me. I can come to your house and teach you.
Paula and Nathaniel, what is the biggest mistake you think people make before they get married?
You have to say what you want before you get married. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of couples have is that they keep some of that bottled up inside, or they think like, yeah, when that comes, it'll all work out.
The truth of the matter is everybody that you are attracted to, you're not compatible with.
Yep.
And so, you might be attracted to the way they look, but that don't mean you can live with it.
Man, I'm telling you, man, everybody you attracted to, you ain't compatible with.
Yeah, that's true. You can be a 10, but when you open your mouth, you're a 4.
Oh, it fucking happens every time I meet people. It doesn't matter. Your quality of character is the most important thing to me. You can be in a fucking Armani suit, $10,000, $100,000 watch, $20,000 shoes, getting out of a $250,000 car, and I'm going to think you're going to be a high-value motherfucker, and I'm about to learn something. And you're going to open your mouth, and you're going to be the most ugly, like, just devious, disgusting, slime ball motherfucker I've ever met in my life, and I'm not going to hear a word you say.
A Waffle House fried egg at 2 a.m.
Yep. Your quality of character means more to me than anything you've got.
Yep.
In that physical attraction, speaking on physical attraction, the moment you open your mouth, if you were, I think you're a 10. And I mean that. I'm not trying to flirt with you. I'm not trying to like blow smoke up your ass. I look at you and I don't see flaws. I can't keep my fucking hands off you.
Yeah.
You are a dime to me. If you opened your mouth and you were dumb, or you were a super feminist fucking crazy woman, you would go from a 10 to a 2 because of all the nonsense that comes out of your mouth. I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You have all of the boxes. That goes so fucking far to me. The physical attraction is the initial, I want to go talk to that woman. And once that initial conversation happens, then you start checking those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we find an attraction in the people that we are attracted to. That's only to get you to engage. Once you've engaged, none of that matters anymore. His eyebrows look like caterpillars.
They do.
Okay.
Because it look good to you don't mean it's going to be good to you. God dog.
That's it, man.
How many times I done that? Oh, Lord, she fine. I can't stand her. I'm telling you, man, I'd rather have a person with some flaws, with a beautiful inside, than to have somebody with flawless and just messed up. You can't stay with that. I enjoyed this conversation. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for having us.
I learned a lot from all of you. I think a lot of audience members did. I want to thank all of our couples for being so open and honest.
It's crazy that what we talk about made a marriage last for 50 years.
Right. And people won't listen to us because of our appearance.
Yep.
And they're told that Patreon. We really are fucking stupid. It'll be 2:00 in the morning, and if I look at my watch and there happens to be a notification, I'm like, Patreon.
I do the same thing. When I know you're sleeping, I hear you snore and something pops up on my phone. I'm like, yeah, Patreon.
That's so funny. People won't listen to us. They don't want to hear the message because of the delivery, the wrapping paper, because they don't think that we have anything to offer. There's nothing on that show, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, that we have not covered extensively in our podcast. We have all of that. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
What is something that you think is necessary pre-marriage? For marriage to be a success that was not covered there.
Setting boundaries and sticking with them.
Elaborate, because they all elaborated.
So do not sacrifice the things that make you happy or make you feel secure in a relationship because you are scared of that person walking away. If you set a boundary and that person walks away, that was not the person for you, and you have to accept that.
And how much of a blessing is that in the courting phase?
You are saving yourself years, decades.
Yep. Time, heartache.
You don't want to be with somebody and look back and go, I'm 60.
Yep.
I lived my life with someone who didn't love me.
Right. I've been miserable my whole fucking life. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to know mine?
What?
To be a servant.
Yeah.
Be prepared to serve your partner.
Yeah.
And not serve to just do. Be a servant. Do what is needed. Be helpful. Make sure that their needs are taken care of just as much as yours are taken care of. If you have a need, and you do, we all have them, and you are unable to express that need to your partner, you need to recognize that you have a shortcoming within yourself, and you're probably doing the same thing to them.
Yep.
Don't keep score.
Don't keep score.
You're not two separate teams playing the Super Bowl. You are the same team playing the Super Bowl, trying to fucking win at life. And marriage doesn't, life doesn't start. It starts at marriage, not ending at the I do's. So,
I don't have anything else for the courting phase.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are all
Right.
things that are like leading to marriage,
Right.
things that you should know before you actually tie the knot.
What's another one? Be prepared for them to disappoint you.
Yeah.
Disappoint's probably not the correct word, but there's going to be frustrations.
Yeah. You are always going to hold your person to a high expectation because you want them to be who you believe they are. I agree with that.
And they're human.
Yeah. There's going to be error.
You have to be prepared for them to slip.
Yep.
And you have to be prepared, if you truly love them,
To pick them up.
to pick them up and say it's okay.
Yep. Fuck. Yep. Because it's teamwork. Yep.
If you're not ready to be that person, if you're someone who is vengeful and you want to throw things back in someone's face and you're that person, don't get into a relationship. Yeah. Don't damage somebody.
Yeah, forgiveness and revenge are both commitments. One of them has grace and the other one does not.
Yep.
All right, next. It says, am I the asshole for moving to a hotel? I didn't watch this one. I only heard the very opening part, and I was like, oh, we can talk about this.
Okay.
So this could be a bust.
All right, let's see.
The asshole for moving to a hotel because my wife's family insisted I sleep on the couch. My wife and I got married last summer. Her family lives across the country from us, so up until this point, I had never actually visited. I had met them a handful of times, but we've always gotten along fine. They invited us to come visit and stay with them for a few days, and we took them up on the offer. We flew in yesterday. Everything went well. Her dad and I watched football. Well, that's fun to do. While she caught up with her mom and her sister. And then we finally had a nice dinner. But things went south at the end of the night when it was made clear that they didn't want me sharing a bed with my wife while in their home, and that they expected me to sleep on the couch. By the way, I had a handful of comments on this, but she won't let me do it. This is her show and I gotta behave. I honestly thought, what?
You're still adding comments.
I'm gonna shut up and read. I love this show. I honestly thought they were...
Okay. If I was in that man's shoes and we were at your parents' house and they said that you guys can't sleep in the same room and you have to sleep on the couch, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to go to a hotel. And you said, okay, I'm going to stay here. Do you know how hard our relationship would be after that? Because you chose your previous family over your current family and let me sleep in a hotel room by myself when I am there in that state, in that town, in that city, in that zip code for your family. Yeah.
We would stay at a hotel and we would never stay at my parents' house again.
Right. You're fucking right. And if they ever invited us again and you didn't go, hey, remember when you made us sleep in a hotel?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Joking at first, but they insisted we sleep separately. I had a problem with the implication that I shouldn't be allowed to sleep next to my wife. And also, I have a bad back and the couch did not look at least bit comfortable. They didn't have a guest room. After arguing back and forth for a bit, I decided to leave and book a hotel. I told my wife she didn't have to come with me. She chose to stay, and I said I'll come back the next day. I went off to the Marriott about 10 miles away and got a good night's sleep, trying not to let the whole situation bother me.
Hell yeah.
This morning I called my...
Fuck you mean hell yeah?
I would have stayed at that hotel for the day. Y'all can do whatever you want to do.
Checkout's at 11. Are you ready to go home? Cool. Here's some money for a plane ticket. I'm driving the fuck back.
Yep.
My wife asking...
That was the end of it, I guess.
Got a good night's sleep, trying not to let the whole...
Yeah, that was the end of that. I don't see how that could be an am I the asshole moment.
No.
Your wife chose her family over you.
Mm-hmm.
You basically just got forced to, you almost got forced to sleep on your in-laws' couch.
Yeah.
You were so in the doghouse that your in-laws are telling you have to sleep on the couch.
No.
There's a whole lot of fuck that.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas comes around and we get the phone call, hey, everybody's coming up here for Christmas. Are you coming? Be like, no, we're fucking not.
Mm-hmm.
And why are you calling me?
You know, not only is that disrespectful, like if that were our situation, not only is that disrespectful to you, that's disrespectful to me.
Yep.
You want to disrespect my marriage like that? No. My first question would be, are you joking?
Right.
The second thing I'm saying is, all right, my husband and I are going to go get a hotel room and we're leaving tomorrow. We're cutting our plans short.
Right. I got to be honest, depending on what time that was, we would leave. You just drive the fuck home. I have no problem driving at nighttime. We do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's easier to drive during the day. It takes a little bit longer because there's a lot more traffic, but I'm good at driving. There's a lot less cars on the road. And get the cruise control and just fucking keep the lane assist on. I can sleep. Mm-hmm. Kidding. It's happened once and it scared the shit out of me, so I don't sleep while I drive. But first time we ever had a car that did that, and it drove, like, and I did one of these.
Yeah.
And, like, I dropped my hands off the wheel and it beeped at me, and I was like, oh, shit, I was asleep.
Yeah.
Rest stop.
Yep.
Yeah. It happens. Sometimes it does happen. I don't understand that mentality of letting your family, your DNA family, come between you and your partner.
No.
We discuss this a lot on the other channel too, in that people will marry and the in-laws will destroy the relationship from the outside because nobody will set a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you'll see a husband or a wife, it'll be like the wife's family will do something fucked up and the husband will be like, you need to address this. And she's like, no, you address it. And then he does. And then it creates problems between him and the in-laws. And then it creates problems between her and the in-laws and her and him. Because she would have handled that in a much calmer kitty glove scenario where he's like, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So like that, you can't do that. Whoever's family it is the one who needs to make the initial grievance, and then after that you guys can have a three-way conversation if necessary.
You know, it really blows my mind that people won't let a friend or a stranger disrespect their spouse, but they'll let their family do it.
Right, because they're told that, you know, it's your mom, you're not going to have any other one. It's just the way it is. And when she dies, you'll never have another mom. You can always have another friend, but you can't have another mom.
Nah, she's going to have to accept that she did that to our relationship.
Right, because it somehow removes the accountability and gives them a free pass to be a fuckface.
Nah.
Yeah.
Not around here.
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
You know, I'm becoming a villain in a lot of people's stories.
Yeah. How do you feel about your story, though? Because you're not living their stories. You're living yours.
Feel pretty good.
That's all that fucking matters.
I'm happy.
I'll be the villain.
My marriage is peaceful. My kids are happy.
That's it.
I have a relationship with the people that I care about.
Yep.
And if they feel a certain way, they haven't said anything. That's a them problem.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to be the hero in everyone's story,
no.
and you're going to be the villain in people's story, and you're not even going to know that you're the villain in their story. And you worrying about what role you play in other people's stories is a complete waste of fucking time, because at the end of the day, your story is the one that matters to your life.
Yep.
Try to be the hero of your story, and if you can, dope. If not, at least try to be fucking chivalrous and good.
You know something I thought about? It no longer pertains to this situation with family. But something I have realized is I am the villain in a lot of people's story.
Yeah.
I used to be a really piece of shit human being.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, I have grown from that. And even though I regret the actions that I had in my past, I hope that they learn something from me.
Right.
And they will no longer tolerate that that behavior from other people. I hope that I was an obstacle that they were able to overcome and grow from.
Well, then you're a better person than I am.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck if people learn from me or not.
Okay.
I learn from me.
Yeah.
All of my shortcomings and all of my dirty things and foul things that I've done to other people, I've had to pay my penance for.
Mhm.
That's what I'm worried about. Because the people who have done me dirty that I dwell on, they're not thinking about the fact that they did me dirty. They're living their fucking life.
Yeah.
I'm going to live my life. I'm going to make my penance, and I'm going to learn from my mistakes and the things that I've done that I have my regrets over,
Mhm.
and just move past that. I can't change any of it. I've learned my lessons. Won't do those things again, or I will try to find a different outcome when those situations are presented again.
Right.
Because I've been through them. I've overcome that obstacle, and now I know how to navigate it.
I don't dwell on my regrets.
Right. I don't either.
I acknowledge them that they used to bother me.
Yeah.
I used to feel, I don't feel bad anymore. I've accepted the things that I've done. And I've said apologies, and that's all I can do.
Right.
Changed behaviors. And because I am a different person than who I was back then doesn't mean they have to accept me for who I am now.
Right. Yeah, that's true. The story that people have of you, whether it's from 10 years or 5 years or 2 months, doesn't matter.
Right.
That's what they have in your head. Your life is going on whether they feel a certain way about you or not.
Right. One way that I have learned to cope and accept is there are people in my life who were pieces of shit to me.
Yep.
And I've learned from them, and it's improved my life. I am not the person I am without having those people do that shit to me.
Right. It's life lessons.
Right. So I like to think that even though I was not the best human being I could have possibly been, I still hope that they've learned something and that they're able to grow and set their own boundaries in their own life and
right.
all of that stuff.
Dope. I have to blow my nose so bad. I've been mouth breathing for
all
the
right,
last
so we're
like
ending
20
it.
minutes. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
And it's 7:13. So like I actually don't want to record anymore tonight. I'd like to have some downtime.
Okay.
So call it.
Bye guys.
Later.